Good evening, race fans, and a happy Valentine's Day to everyone out there. Thank you for joining us here at CRN. This is round number 4 here for the CSRL GT3 Series Season 7 here, and we are at Okayama International Circuit, and this is a track that a lot of these drivers are most likely familiar with. It is a free track here on the iRacing service, so you know, a lot of guys kind of cutting their early rookie teeth on this track and getting familiar with it for sure, at least the first half of it, as there's 2 different layouts here. We are running the full circuit here tonight and be able to enjoy that long back stretch, and it's just a really nice kind of flowing track, but it's certainly got some ups and downs and some quick little turns that these guys are going to have to pay attention to. So we'll see how they handle it out here tonight. Carl Hamwork in the booth with Joe Sullivan. Joe, welcome to Okayama. Are you ready for some more CSRL GT3 action?
I am, and it's actually a track that I'm kind of familiar with. I've actually raced here before. I've done a couple of officials here. They said it's a free track, so it's like one of the first ones you kind of get going here with iRacing. So I have raced here before, so it's somewhat familiar. Some
actual road racing experience for Joe Sullivan. I mean, say it ain't so. You may actually know which way these guys got to go around the track. This could be an epic broadcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, so I was like, after last week's race, I was like in the road mode, so I jumped on and did an official actually in the Mazdas. They were here last week, and not gonna get too carried away here, but I did take second.
Okay.
But I avoided the turn 1 disaster of officials, as we all know. So got through that and just kept it on track and came away with a second. So I am familiar with this track and ready to see what these guys can do in a slightly faster car here tonight.
We won't discuss it. It was a rookie race and there was only 4 cars on the track. We'll just leave that as a second place.
Hey, maybe there was 2 cars. We don't know.
All right, well, we are going to be joined here in the booth here in a second. Just going to get these guys queued up here. We got 2 interviews here as usual here tonight. Tonight is going to be Brandon Powell and Frank Pisano. So going to first start with the let's see if he's ready here into the session. Yep, looks like he is he's ready to go. So we're going to start with the driver of the 25 here, and that is going to be Brandon. I'm sorry, that 831 Brandon Powell. So Brandon, first of all, welcome to the booth and welcome to Okayama. Is this a track that you're looking forward to on the season? It's certainly one that's maybe a little bit more familiar to the drivers out here.
So I look forward to it, but to be honest with you, this track is one that I try to avoid whenever I see it on iRacing because I don't have a good relationship with this track, but it's definitely fun and it's a very technical track. But I think tonight's definitely going to be a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, it seems like it's a track that you kind of, there's a lot of high speed in it, and it's maybe more than a lot of drivers realize, but you need to keep that high speed up. You need to really kind of hit your marks in and out of the corners.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the biggest thing at this track, I mean, really any track, is practicing, and unfortunately tonight that's one thing I didn't really do, so I'm kind of just jumping in on this one, so hopefully we'll have a good outcome.
I mean, sometimes you can look at it as you haven't developed any bad habits yet, so you got that going for you.
That's a good point.
So far this year, you've been out there to 2 of the 3 races, coming in with an 8th place at Suzuka and then a 5th place last week. How do you think the season's going for you so far? Do you feel like you got a little bit more in the tank, or do you feel like you're starting to hit your stride here?
Well, I feel like I always got a little bit more in the tank every race. I feel like I'm doing a little bit better, learning something new. And, really, at the end of the day, I'm just doing it to have some fun and just have a good time with the league.
Yeah, certainly a good showing every week for these guys in regards to the car count out here, and a lot of good drivers, and you're up there in the pro class. Do you feel like that kind of suits you? Do you feel like you're where you need to be, or do you feel like you're overmatched at sometimes?
Nah, I feel like I'm definitely where I need to be. Just a little bit more seat time, would definitely help out a little bit to get me up in the ranks. But yeah, I definitely feel like I'm right where I need to be at.
So last 2 races on the circuit here are going to be at Mount Panorama and Circuit of the Americas. Certainly tracks that if you don't have any experience on, they can both be nightmares. So
oh yeah.
So what are your feelings and thoughts here for the next 2 races here?
So I'm definitely pretty scared of the mountain. which I'm sure everybody is, which is our next race.
That enjoy it, yes.
Yeah. And then the other one at Coda, I mean, that's definitely a very tricky track, and if you don't get it right in the first turn, it's just like it messes you up all the way through.
Yeah, and you only got 16 S turns right after that you have to worry about. You just mess up the first one, and you give about 10 seconds in the first 1 minute of the lap. But yeah, it's all good. But yeah, either way, Okayama here tonight, so we will see what that 8:31 can do out there. Before we let you get back out there to practice and get ready for qualifying, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Well, definitely got to give a shout out to the wife. Definitely has a lot of patience with me doing racing, so I really appreciate that and just want to let her know that I love her and hopefully have a good outcome tonight. And I definitely want to say thank you to the whole entire league, all the guys I race with. Definitely enjoy racing with these guys. Jim Dutton, Jim Herrick, appreciate them sponsoring the broadcasting this season and appreciate having you guys here to broadcast for us.
Absolutely. We'll see if you can get that 8:31 a couple more steps closer to that top, maybe get a podium, and we'll talk to you maybe after the race.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
That is the driver of the 8:31 here tonight, Brandon Powell. And now Joe will go ahead and bring in our next interview, and that is going to be Frank Pisano. He is the driver of the number 38 Audi.
Hey there, Frank. You got a copy?
I do. How you guys doing tonight?
Oh, we're doing great. We've talked a couple times so far this year. You got yourself a couple podiums. You find yourself in second in points right now. Not as good as it can go as to start the season here. Talk us through the first half of the season for you.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Just kind of win so far, but just trying to get podiums, trying to finish as good as I can, and score some valuable points.
Well, we got Okayama here tonight. Is this one of your better tracks, or is this one you're not really looking forward to?
I enjoy this. I hadn't been on it before this week. Got some practice in on Sunday, and yeah, got the hang of it. I like the twisty, turny, short courses.
Well, with just a couple more races left in this season, what's your kind of? Are you still doing what you've been doing to stay the course and keep trying to get a couple more podiums, or are you just going to kind of see what everybody else does here?
Well, like we talked about a couple races ago, nice quiet races are good for me. Mount Panorama, I've never raced on that track. I practice it next week. The race for next week. That's going to be something else.
Yeah, that seems like it's going to be the make or break for a lot of guys, because it's not I've actually raced there too, and it's I mean, I'm not very good at road racing, but it is a very hard track to try to get down, and it looks like it's going to be the gauntlet for a lot of these guys for the points.
Yeah, a lot of places to a lot of tight corners, a lot of fast.
Yeah, a lot of spots where you can make some critical and really bad spots there for you, and give them some wrecks and have to tow, or some DNFs if they're possible there. So before we let you go, anybody want to give a shout out to today?
Well, yeah, on Valentine's Day, the only one I can give a shout out to is my wife. Patty. She'll be celebrating 33 years next April. So yeah, shout out for my wife for letting me do this.
All righty, well, we'll let you get out there and get a qualifying lap in, and good luck. Maybe we'll talk to you afterwards.
Okay, thanks, guys.
That is driver of the 38, Frank Pisano, and we'll see if he can back it up with yet another podium here tonight. These guys are getting ready for qualifying, but talking about the track here a little bit, kind of a bit of a newer track here, built in 1990, and actually built as one of the first and best country club racetracks is what is quote unquote dubbed as it's actually was designed for wealthy clients to get out there and exercise their thrills of driving exotic automobiles in a kind of a safer race environment here, and then it was turned into a little bit more of an actual racetrack in 94-95 when it started hosting the Formula One Pacific Grand Prix, and then the World Touring Car Championship. So I mean, it's not often that tracks this big. It's about almost 2.5 miles, 2.3 miles, get built essentially especially for the wealthy and not necessarily just for a racetrack.
I mean, I've heard of private golf courses, but a private racetrack?
You know you want one.
Bracket.
I mean, let's be honest. You know you want one. You don't even care if it's a road course. You want one.
No, yeah, I would not even mind if it was a road course. I would have just much fun.
Listen, I'll take a private go-kart track. You know, I'm not gonna complain. A slot car track, I'll settle for that at this point. But no, I mean, it's pretty amazing. But it is a very, in my eyes, it's a fun track. It's one where you can get out there and kind of test the limits of a car. It's got a little bit of everything. It's got some nice long straightaways. It's got some, you know, kind of double corners. It's got just a little bit of everything. Got some hairpins to kind of deal with. So you can really test out just kind of an overall car setup. And it's a track that when you're getting into the GT series, it's a good one to test out all the different cars. You know, we talked how many times about each of these GT3 cars feeling differently, some being a little pushy, some being a little neutral, and some being a little, you know, free in the back end, all depending on where the engine placement is and everything like that. So this is a track that you can certainly get out there and really get a feel for how each of these GT3 cars handle.
Yeah, it looks like it's the Audis, quite a few of them here today. I was trying to look at some other ones here.
Yeah, certainly a little bit more showing from the Audis here tonight. Porsches and a few Lamborghinis, but it looks like we may actually, for the first time, other than the Ford, we may have the most complete manufacturer field out here. Looks like we got the Porsche, we got the Ferrari, the Audi, BMW, Lamborghini, Mercedes. We got the McLaren out there. Looks like we got we got two lone McLarens out there, that being Rich Petrucco and Craig Jancic. But yeah, quite a few Audis out there, and it's kind of a mix between the Audis, Ferraris, and the Porsches kind of handling most of this field here. We'll see which one kind of rises to the top. It seems like the top guys have been choosing the Porsche and the Ferrari quite a bit here in this early season.
Yeah, this is like a track that, I mean, it's kind of, I mean, I had a lot of fun on it. Like, I mean, you got a lot of speed, which, you know, I mean, that's why we love racing, for the speed. But you also have, like, I mean, it's kind of twisty turny, but it kind of flows really well. I mean, it all just sets up pretty good. I mean, for a novice like me, I had some fun with it.
And even the shorter version, you're looking at it right there in the middle of the screen. So these guys will be going to the left and going out down to the hairpin, and then coming down that long backstretch at the top of your screens and coming around there. But the shorter version of the track, you see it kind of cutting through there with a double right-hand corner, basically cutting off the entire backstretch area. Even the shorter version of this track, you know, if you get out there with some of the slower cars, whether it's, you know, the TC cars or your MX-5s, it's still a fun track. I mean, we've had a series already over in Core where we ran stupidly. We ran the SK modifieds here, which, I mean, modifieds on a road course, it was fun, don't get me wrong, but when you got that big old air filter sticking up in front, you could not see to make a right-hand turn at all. And this is a clockwise track, so you're making a lot of right-hand turns. So it was interesting, to say the least. But either way, it's a fun little track to get out here, whether you're running the short version of the track here or using the long international version of the track. But we are under qualifying right now. Just want to show you guys the point standings that we've been talking about, and it is Marco Ciccone, the new man, on top of the boards after a dominating performance last week. Frank Pisano, we talked to him. He is in second place. The former points leader Tim Ponzi having a rough week last week. He is going to fall to third. Craig Jancic and Dan Morera are going to round out your top 5 in the pro class. Over in the AM, it is going to be Randall Ayers, Garrett Pittman, Gray Welch, Brandon Potts, and John Seamer rounding out your top 5 for the amateur class. But do want to send a shout out, as we always do, to the sponsor of the series, and that being Ford Racewear. I mean, it's not easy running series. No matter what you're doing, if you're just running it for fun, if you're running it to get exposure out there, get drivers a chance to make money, regardless of what you're doing for a series, it's not easy. And when you have guys that are coming in there and willing to help out with sponsorship in any way, shape, or form. It is absolutely fantastic. So once again, I can't thank Jim Herrick enough for coming on board with 40 Racewear. But again, they are the makers of ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel, designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 sim racing shoes, custom engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, while still providing the comfort needed for those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out your latest sim racing products, including the original racing gloves for your feet. Joe, we are about halfway through qualifying. We'll bring up the results so far. Looks like we got James Scioli at the top of the boards right now. A couple newcomers, as we have pretty much every week here. There's a couple new names that pop in here, and we'll see who is going to jump to the top of the boards. But this is a track that don't necessarily need to be up there in qualifying. Don't need to be absolutely top of the boards to guarantee a good race, as you do have some straightaways and certainly a ton of chances to pass here. But of course, track position is always kind of vital.
Oh, definitely here too. I mean, we'll see what it looks like when they all get out there. But I mean, like I said, it's got that. I mean, I don't know how bad the draft's going to be with these cars, but I mean, there's going to be so many cars at start. I just hope they can get through this turn, the first turn here, and everybody can survive it, and then everybody can just kind of get into a groove and see what's going to happen here tonight, and see if last week we kind of avoided it, or it kind of happened a little early of the calamity of the minute, so to speak. That we had the first two races there, so we'll see if everybody can kind of avoid that here tonight.
Well, it seems like we got through the first little bit of it last week, but all in all, I mean, very easy that these guys can have some major issues in a turn one, or even just regardless on the first lap of these races with the car counts that they got. Looks like we are looking at 32 cars out here on the grid tonight, but really that really hasn't been the issue. That hasn't been the talking point. We haven't seen too much issues on those first couple laps, especially in regards to multiple cars. I mean, we haven't really seen multi-car incidents all season. It's a testament to these guys and having the awareness and having the having the respect for each other to be able to drive around each other as close as they do without causing any kind of big incidents. But it's really been the strategy, and seeing what these guys do at the end of the races. I mean, we talk about how crazy the first minute of the race can be. It's really been the last minute of all these races so far that's been really crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, a testament to these guys. I mean, the cleanliness of it has been really good. I mean, just that many cars going into the first turn, and then to not have like a big huge pile up. I mean, these guys are given a lot of room and are being really respectful of the others on the track. And I mean, yeah, there's stuff's gonna happen. It's racing, but I mean, it's been really clean. I mean, we haven't had like a big pile up, 3, 4 cars, 5 cars. I mean, it's usually been like 1 or 2, maybe 3 here, but it's been really clean and really like good racing. I mean, last week the race was over before we even could process what was even going on. It went by so fast.
Yeah, and it's one of those things with the timed race and it being 40 minutes and this many cars, it gives us just so much action all over the place. And I wish we could almost kind of red zone these kind of races and show you 6 different screens on track to show you every little bit of battling that's going on out there. But we are finished with qualifying, and these guys have a short drive to the start finish line here, so we'll hop right over to the results here and take a rundown. First with the pro class, it is going to be James Scioli on top of the boards with a 129.238. Points leader Marco Ciccone going to be starting in second. Rich Petrucco, Peter Moeller, Alan Elwood going to round out your top 5. Michael Carrillo, AJ Roderick, Craig Jancic, Frank Pisano, Siviani, Madrigal going to round out your top 10. Further down the line, Jim Dutton, Gregor Mismer, Skylar Vickroy, Brandon Powell, Dan Morera, Christopher, Stephen Price, Renan De Lima, James Pierce, and Joseph Carnes going to round out your pro class with both James Pierce and Joseph Sullivan. Joseph Sullivan. No, not you, Joseph Carnes. you didn't put a time in either, so I mean, I guess I'm not wrong by saying it, but yeah, James Beers, Joseph Carnes not putting in a time here tonight.
And luckily for them, I'm not in this race.
Yes, yes. Yeah, either way, you'd probably be down there, even if you put it in a time.
Oh, yeah. I would be at no time.
All right, switching over to the AM class, we got John Seamer on top of the boards with a 130.695. Garrett Pittman, Jason Potts, Jay Little, Tyler Meeks, your top 5. Antonio Diaz, Jim Herrick, Brandon Potts, Gray Welch, Ian Wilson, your top 10. And then rounding out the field for the AM class is going to be Glenn Lazan and Brian Farron, as these guys are set for another round of racing here for CSRL. And pace car is pulling away again. A short little drive here before we get this thing fired away already, as they're already towards the back half of this racetrack here. So we'll see if these guys can get gridded up, and once they get onto the front stretch, it gets green pretty quickly. So kind of back half of the field is still going to be in the last couple corners while we're taking the green flag. So I mean, we may not even get to turn 1 before there's some kind of issues here, but not sure what's happening to the inside liners there. Now they're finally catching back up. But we are on the front stretch now and getting ready to take the green flag for race number 4 here. We're in the second half of the season already for CSRL, so time to make a move if you haven't done so already. It is go time here at Okayama, just waiting that long drive down the front stretch as it's getting a little
checking up
twitchy here. And now we will get the green flag. Already some strong moves there on the front row. 3 wide and a turn 1. And a wreck right at the front stretch. And man, it is really getting twitchy here for me. So I apologize to those out there. Not sure what exactly is going on. There's a lot of guys twitching on the track, and if for some reason the stream goes down, I will go ahead and restart it for you guys. But switch over and try and get on board with somebody that is not blinking around here. And try and reload things here. Looks like everything may be settling down right now, but making it out of the melee on lap number 1 there is going to be Rich Petrucco in front of the field there. Looks like there was a bit of a blocking going on there by Marco Chacon, trying to get over there and stay to the right, but unfortunately
more trouble.
Tangles, and yeah, we got trouble in the back. That is the 10 of Alan Elwood off the track here. And not a great start here for the 10 for sure, as he is down 22 spots from his starting spot up there towards the front of the field. Back here in 16th in the pro class right now. So I can't say I'm surprised.
We talked about it, yeah. We talked about it, turn 1.
Well, it's one of those things where the tracks where guys don't have that much experience, you would expect it to be an issue, and it turns out not to be. And then the tracks where everybody has familiarity, you figure it's going to go nice and easy. Now, it's the exact opposite. These guys have the experience on these tracks, and they maybe have a little bit more confidence, and maybe too much confidence sometimes, and send it into a move on those first couple laps without thinking. It looks like the 87 of Antonio Abendo Diaz having some issues there as well, and possibly the 12 as well with John Seamer, and a couple guys, looks like Christopher and Antonio Diaz both already towing into pit lane. Actually, Christopher driving in there, Antonio is going to be towing in there, so bit of a mix-up here already, and certainly shaking up the field, as Rich Petrucco certainly doesn't mind that, starting at 3rd and now is in 1st, and then Michael Carrillo right behind him started in 6th. He is up to 2nd, and I mean, really everybody inside the top 10 right now is up positions. It's kind of crazy, and James Scioli is your pole sitter. He is relegated back to 11th position right now, so we'll see what these guys can do if they can fight their way back through, but certainly a dream start for the 27.
Yeah, it's just, wow. Man, there's so much to unfold there. So much to go back and unpack. What is Is there flames coming out of the back of that? Oh, that's cool.
There it is. Yep,
I
that is
just noticed that.
I know that's one of the loves that people have in the McLaren is the backfiring that the car does produce. We'll try and take a
I
look
couldn't
back
tell
at
if that was flames or what at first. I was like, is that my screen or what's going on?
Indeed it is.
That's even better.
Trying to look back here and see when the initial incidents happened here, as there were so many in the beginning.
I don't know if it will, or can we get a clear shot of that turn 1 again?
Well, here is the restart.
The start was all jumbled. I don't like.
You see the 11 of Chicone trying to come over and block off Rich Petrucco coming into turn number 1, and it ends up turning into a 3-wide battle as the 77 checks up a bit early, and I mean he turned in certainly not thinking it was going to be 3 wide right there, and unfortunately gets the brunt end of that, and looks like he collects his teammate there, the 10, and yeah, just a rough start there for the SVM team. And that's when everything just really got, as you can see, jumbled up, and the screen just does not like it. There's just too much going on.
A lot of cars on the screen at once.
Absolutely, but back out front, it is Rich Petrucco that did make it out of that situation. He was the one on the inside of that 3 wide, and I mean, I guess if you're ever 3 wide, the best place to be is on the inside. Typically, you're going to be the one that makes it out of there a little bit easier than the other guys, but he's not exactly stretching out. He's out to a half-second lead. Michael Carrillo is right there behind him and chasing him down, and then only 9/10 of a second behind them. You see right there, Peter Moeller is trying to stay with these guys, and then Druco's teammates of Craig Jancic, the other McLaren out there, the other one backfiring with those flames, is back there in 4th position with AJ Ryder rounding out your top 5.
Yeah, Craig, your last season's champion, Pro Division. He's trying to get his season back going here.
It's certainly not exactly the title defense I think he was looking at this season, as he's stuck right now in 4th position. Certainly not out of it by any means, as he's only 11 points behind the points leader of Chicone, and Chicone obviously not having exactly a good start to this race here. Frank Pisano up there in 7th, and yeah, exactly, Tim Ponzi not there, so I guess Jancic kind of having a bit of a dream start here as well, as none of his competitors in front of him in the points, in front of him in the race right now. So good start for him. Taking a look over at the amateur class here, we got Garrett Pittman leading the class by 5 seconds already over Tyler Meeks, and Pittman having a good season in 2nd place in the points, coming in only 5 points behind Randall Ayers, and Randall not in the field here tonight, so going to be a new points leader most likely regardless. I mean, if Pittman could come away with the victory, it would certainly be a point standings lead for him, and quite a big one, as Gray Welch is the next one, 3rd place in the points, 10 behind Pittman, but he is mired back right now in 7th in the AM class. So dream start for some of these guys, horrific start for other ones, and right now it has Pittman out there and just stretching out his lead, almost 7 seconds already, gained about 2 seconds on this lap, with Tyler Meeks in 2nd, Jim Herrick, Jason Potts, and Brandon Potts rounding out your top 5 for the AM class.
Yeah, without Randy Ayers, we've talked to him. He's had 3 races, 3 podiums. He's the only one we've talked to every week, and not sure if he had wife duties tonight or didn't get the okay or what. But unfortunately, he's not here tonight. But it's Mr. Pittman is looking pretty good so far.
Oh, bit of a bump there.
Whoa!
We'll take a look at that one more time, and
just cannot get away from calamity here.
Yeah, right there. He gets a big shove. Trying to see who that was in the Puma BMW right there, but a big shove, and that might have been Gray Welch, just hard to see some of these numbers, but yeah, it looks like that was the 19 of Gray Welch giving him a little bit of a slap to Alan Elwood. And yeah, just a horrible start here for the 10. Started up there at the front of the field and just not good so far. And looks like we got some more issues here and a few more crashes, and this involves some guys jumping into the pits as well. This is Gregory Mismer. These are, they're going into the hairpin here. Looks like he makes a late move here to the inside, and trying to see what actually happened. It's saying that there was a crash, and looks like, yeah, he just loses it by himself here. Just so much going on, but yeah, right there, hard impact, and another one right there, and that being Brandon Powell. He did end up towing back to the pits after that. So the hairpin here, not exactly being friendly to these guys. We'll get it back live. And the hits are coming. We have a lot of guys way in the back at this point. I mean, you look at the AM class, and you got a couple battles here and there. You got losing my thought there, Jason Potts, not too far behind Tyler Meeks here for second place, and then you got Jay Little not too far behind Brandon Potts for fourth and fifth place right here behind him. But other than that, it's pretty spread out all the way through, especially first and second. We haven't seen this big of a lead all season this quickly. I mean, we're only 10 minutes into this race, a quarter of the way through it already, but 8 seconds is the difference between first and second. So I don't want to say Pittman can put it in cruise control, but you know, if he's thinking about any kind of fuel strategy, saving at all, he's certainly got some time to do so. Can't say the same for Rich Petrucco, who's still got Michael Carrillo just hounding him down, and he's gonna damage the front of his car with those flames coming out of there. right up the backside there. Or maybe that's helping. Maybe it's just, you know, it's lightening the load. They're burning off a little bit. But either way, good run for these guys here at the front, and not too far behind is third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. You see them all right there on the screen. So good running here for the Pro class. The AM class certainly spread out a bit, but second place through fifth is getting a little tight once again.
Yeah, these top 5 or 6 in the Pro class are, I mean, it's long and last right now. It just seems like they haven't really gotten too far away from each other. Just kind of riding right now and seeing who's going to make that mistake again. Who's going to, you know, like it's been like the thing all season here is, you know, not the fastest car is going to win, but who's going to be the smoothest? Who's going to avoid the danger? Who's going to avoid the accident or not have a problem on pit road or getting off pit road?
Yeah, more often than not, smooth and keeping it steady and being smart is going to outweigh just being all out fast. You know, obviously, if you can get out there like Garrett Pittman is right now and just lay down those laps and stretch your lead out, it's going to make it a lot easier. It's going to make it easier to be smooth and fast because you don't have to worry about it. But you know, for these guys right here, they can't put a tire wrong as they're battling very closely. I'm going to send an apology out there to Brandon Powell for the broadcaster's curse. We'll try not to show Frank Pisano on the track as of course, just thinking about it, he loses a position there to James Cioli. But yeah, it's you know, the interviews giveth and they taketh away sometimes, and unfortunately, the pre-race interview for Brandon Powell did not turn out too well here in the race, as he's going to be out of the running here pretty early. Or at least, you know, kind of buried in the back there. But good racing here so far for the Pro class. I mean, really close battles all the way through, and that's what you like to see at a track like this. You kind of expect it, but maybe some of the guys that are battling each other and how far up they're battling is a bit of a shock to these guys. But James Cioli starting to make a bit of a comeback, considering, you know, he was involved in that lap 1, turn 1 incident and fell out of the top 10. Already works his way back up to 7th. So some damage control here early, and looking to make a move right here. This is not for position. This is a lap car there. That is the 198 of Stefan Price. But right there, not too far behind at the top 5 already. So don't count James Cioli out. He's clearly got some speed here at Okayama.
Yeah, I mean, he was your pole sitter, so, and I think he missed last week or was there a couple weeks ago, and he led that thing the whole way. I mean, definitely has speed, so it'll be nice to see if he can just keep locking some laps here and try to make some time up on these guys and get back in it after that, after the turn 1 disaster.
Yeah, I mean, you want to be cautious, you want to be careful, especially going into turn 1. You got cold tires, cold brakes, and it looked like he was just maybe a little bit too cautious, and he had the guys battling that, well, right on the inside of him right away, and I don't think he was probably expecting maybe too wide right there, but he turned in like it was only too wide, and it ended up being 3, and it just did not work out for him, and I don't think there's too much really he can do. I think he was just saying as a bystander there, but
yeah,
good to see he's right back on the track and kind of right back in the mix of things, only 2.5 seconds behind 6th place right now, that being Madrigal, not too far in front of him, and the Lamborghini. But I mean, we talked about the different cars that have been dominating. We mainly talked about the Porsche being the one up there. And looking at the top 10, I mean, the back half of the top 10, you got 9th and 10th being the Porsche. But other than that, one Porsche being Peter Moeller in 3rd place. The rest is dominated by, you got the McLaren in 1st and 4th, and then a bunch of Audis. And the Audis right now, overall in the top 12, have, 2, 4, 6 of the top 12 spots.
Yeah, and like that looked like the most dominating car, you know, like chosen wise, you know, but it's really weird how these guys can go from different car to different car, from track to track, and you know, it's hard enough just being comfortable in one car, and then to be able to just jump in a different car and run it at a different track. Like, I mean, that just seems wild to me, you know. Like, I mean, just all the road racing stuff is just, you know, new and different. I'm learning as much as I can as we go here, but it just seems like if you're into NASCAR stuff or oval stuff, it's like, well, I'm going to run Chevy at Talladega, but then when we get to Martinsville, I'm going to run a Ford. You know, it's just like, what? Like, you know, it's just really weird for me. Like,
well, I think the best way to describe it is you can't really necessarily say it along the same series when it comes to ovals. Like, if you're looking at the Ford, the Chevy, the Toyota, all in the next-gen cars, they're all exactly the same. They look a little bit different, but they all drive exactly the same. I think the best way to describe these guys changing cars, as both of these guys right here watching Brandon Potts here, as he was trying to run down Meeks. But the best way to describe it is going to the same track, you know, over and over again, but one time running the next gen, the next time running the truck, next time running the Xfinity, as obviously all 3 of those are going to handle a little bit differently, and they'll be a little bit different on speed, but that's really what it is. I mean, these guys have put in some time clearly to understand what these cars do and how they handle, and some tracks will favor one car over another. Sometimes you'll want a car that's a little bit more tail happy. Sometimes you want one that is just more overall stable, or even one that's a little bit more snug in the front end. And knowing what these different cars will do, you know, kind of gives you that advantage to choose different cars each week.
Yeah, it's also goes to, like, I guess your driving style too. You know, I mean, something obviously everybody drives differently, but you know, guys like a tighter car, some guys like a looser car, so it's just wild to me that you can just jump in a different car at a different track and, you know, I mean, not only be fast, but like be consistent and all that. I mean, obviously that takes time and practice and all that, but I mean, still, like, you have to get, I mean, last week some of these guys were in a different car totally. I mean, yeah, it's a different track, but obviously that car's going to handle differently, and I mean, it just, I mean, I would have a hard enough time just trying to figure out one car, let alone, I mean, what can you choose from here? Like 6, 7 different cars?
Yeah, 7 different cars. Yep, exactly. And it's, wow. I'm kind of the same way. I mean, even though you have that option, the ability to change cars, I like to kind of just settle into one car. I mean, for the longest time, the Ferrari was the car that I was kind of in love with, and then some of the updates came through, and it just ended up kind of being a dog. And then the new Porsche, when it came out, it seemed like that was the car you wanted to be in, and now the newer Audi seems to be the car that is the choice of the most of the drivers out here. But yeah, I like to try and pick one car and kind of fully understand it. And if I know how that car drives kind of in and out, I'll know what it can and can't do on the different tracks. And you may have to drive that track just a little bit differently than everybody else to make that car work. And you can do that if you understand fully that car. If you're jumping in different cars each week, it can be a little bit tougher. It may give you an advantage if you know how to handle each car, but if you don't, you're just kind of hopping in the car as you think is going to handle the best, and hopefully it does for you. And right now we see 3 different manufacturers in the top 3, as we got McLaren, Audi, and Porsche here in the top 3 with Jerko, Carrillo, and Moeller at the top, and only a second and a half, actually only 1.3 separating your top 3 right now. Coming up on the halfway mark, Joe, and this thing is buzzing through pretty quickly, just like the last time, Manny. And you love to see those numbers right there. You love to see the oranges and the yellows halfway through this race, and we still have battling all the way through the top 7 right now.
Yeah, these top 3 have kind of cut away here from this little pack of 4 here behind them. They got real tight here battling, but who's that? Is that yeah, Scioli here. It's caught back up to him.
Yeah, Scioli up to the back here of Simeone Madrigal. Missed the battle for 6th place, and then he's got Roderick right in front of him and Jancic right in front of him. So right here, this is 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, all right here on your screen, all within about a second of each other right now. So, I mean, for a bad start for Scioli, he is certainly making the best of it here, and he can very quickly go from 7th all the way up to 4th.
Yeah, and strategy-wise here, I mean, he's caught and run him down here. He's there. Now, do you keep pushing, or would this be a time to go ahead and get that pit stop out of the way? Just maybe they're going to hold you up here a little bit. So maybe you want to pit and come out and maybe get some free clear track and see what happens after that. Try to make up a little bit of time on them.
Yeah, I mean, normally I would say yes. That's definitely what you want to do. Come out and get away from this very close battle that you're looking at. But have you looked at the track map lately? I don't think there is a free spot on this track. I mean, it just dots all over the place as these guys are just filling up this Okayama track, and 2.3 miles getting filled with all 30 plus of these cars that are out there right now. Looks like we still have 30 cars still in this race. Looks like Carnes and Pierce not taking a green flag here tonight, but everybody has gotten back out there. Possibly, it looks like maybe Mismer or
oh, and there he comes. There comes James.
Yeah, might not have come back out here, but yes, Scioli is gonna do. Maybe
he's watching the broadcast.
He's listening. Yeah, exactly.
Smart man. Smart man.
We'll take him off here. Don't want to have him to get the other broadcaster's curse. We'll go back up. Well, actually, we'll go back a little bit here and take a look. This is Skylar Vicker. I talked to him last week in pre-race interviews. He is battling back here with Dan Herrera, another guy that was a podium finisher last week, as these guys are battling for 9th and 10th position. And, with a field as deep as this is, getting a top 10, can be very, very, can make you feel good. I mean, there's not too many ways to explain it, but it's just, sometimes just getting that top 10 can make you feel good about getting out here, because there's a lot of good drivers out here, especially in the pro class. I mean, you look at the man not too far behind right here. He is in 11th place, but 12 seconds behind. Certainly didn't have a good start, and just actually recently went off track. But this is your AM class champion last season, and he would certainly love to just grab a top 10 here and kind of build some of the confidence back up from from moving up here. It's great when you get out there, you win a championship in your class, but then you get bumped up, and it can be a bit of a reality check, and you have to start finding all those tenths that you're better than everybody else. Now you're those tenths behind those guys in front of you. You have to figure out where they're getting that time, and it's what you need to do. If you want to get better, you have to race against the faster guys. You're never going to get better getting into a league where you're the big fish in the little pond, because you're not learning anything from anyone.
No, and that's like on Tuesdays when we have the Core Xfinity Series. I mean, it's, well, we got 25, 30 cars there, you know, and to me, like, I mean, a top 10 is, that's a good day. Like, I mean, with the amount of talent that's in that series, I mean, if I can just keep getting top 10s, I'm satisfied with that. You know, obviously you want more, but like, you feel like, man, this is a tough field. So in order to get like a top 10, I mean, that's a good day. I mean, we'll walk away with that, you know?
Yeah, and it's even more special when you got the guys that we're interviewing week in and week out, grabbing those podiums every week. That's the the top of the class for a reason, and they are the ones that get the adoration. It's not easy getting up there and grabbing a podium, let alone grabbing the win. But I guess I can't really say that for Garrett Pittman here tonight. 25.8-second lead, just past halfway here in this race. Unbelievable drive here for the man in the Audi over there in the AM class. Rich Petrucco and Michael Carrillo still have not left each other. It is still within a half a second. Muller not too far back, only about 1.1 seconds back right now. So the top three have checked out just a little bit. Frank Pisano is up to 5th right now. Craig Jancic still in 4th. But I think it's time right now, as these guys now starting to come into pits, the leader of the AM class, Garrett Pittman, in the pits. We'll go ahead and crank these guys up, turn our mics off, and give everyone out there a Valentine's. Love to hear it. Sights and sounds here of the CSRL GT3 series presented by Ford Racewear, and we're in the middle of the pit cycle right now as we got about half the field so far coming into the pits. The top 5, actually top 6 right now have yet to come into pit lane, so Michael Carrillo is going to be the one at the front. We'll see if the overcut works for him, as he was mired behind your leader for this entire race, and that being Rich Petrucco, who is actually, never mind, did not see how he got the lead. I thought Petrucco came into the pits. That was not the case. Just looking at it right now, and Petrucco getting loose in turn number 2. And very close, very crazy maneuver right there for Carrillo. Gets it on by, but you see Petrucco finally gets it in gear and gets back going. Lost several spots there. Back to 3rd right now, but he is far behind and yet to make his pit stop. So a great early part of the race here. And now he's going to have a lot of fighting back to do, and he may just be happy with a podium spot at this point, but he's still going to come into the pits, which he does right now. And we'll see when the rest of this field comes in. Petrucco in the pits. Jim Dutton now coming in the pits. That's 4th and 5th on the track currently. Michael Carrillo, Peter Moeller, Frank Pisano, and Dan Barrera, your top 4, have yet to come into the pits. The only other one that is yet to come in is currently in 8th spot, and that is Renan Lima. So we'll see where everybody cycles out. But right now, of the guys that have come into the pits, the man that is running the highest was your pole sitter. That is James Scioli, currently running in 5th position. But again, everybody in front of him has to come into the pits. So right now, he is trying to put in some burner laps. He's trying to get out there as fast as he can, and hopefully he can undercut as many of these guys in front of him as he can. If not, he's going to have to pass them on track. But we are coming to the back half of this race already, and it is about to be 7 minutes left. Joe, it's been exciting. There's been quite a lot of action here tonight. There's been a lot of guys having some issues, whether it's getting into each other or getting off tracks, and even some guys spinning, as you see Petrucco spinning by himself at the front of the field. So Okayama is certainly attacking these guys here tonight.
Yeah, it is, and it seems to be the theme kind of all year here, where somebody's up front fast and has an issue, and somebody's gonna capitalize, and it's gonna be interesting to see what these guys who haven't pit. Looks like they're all on the pit road right now. Top 4 are pitting right now, yeah, so they're gonna pit and just do a little bit of splash and dash, and try to, I guess, just put a little bit of fuel in it so they can make it here to the end. But we were talking there, and I'd love to hear it, such a part there where James Scioli was going to come out here, and it looks like he may be taking over the lead.
Yeah, what a turn of events. Scioli right there, getting past both Carrillo and Mollers. They're coming out of the pits, so he was the leader to start this race, got shuffled out of the top 10. What a fight back here for the driver of the 77. Certainly has been eventful for him, but he has found his way back to the front when he needs to, and that is with 6 minutes left in this race. Just got to finish this thing out. Obviously pit back on lap 14, so he's certainly I don't know if these guys have taken tires. Looks like everybody just going for the splash and dash. Possibly Dan Morera back there in 9th, maybe taking some tires, but his tires are not cold at all, so should be able to get some quicker laps in here and try and get away from Carrillo. And maybe I I almost feel like it's stealing the win from these guys, even though it was his potentially to begin with.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll see what Michael Carrillo can do here, but he was running down Petrucco until Petrucco had his issue. So we said we got probably 5 minutes left now, so a couple laps here, and a 2 second gap here. See if Carrillo can run him down.
Yeah, it's starting to stretch out a bit, and now it looks like the guys over in the amateur class are the ones that are starting to put up battles, as we have got a battle for 4th position, just trying to find him. It's for some reason
Potts and Seamer.
It is John Seamer trying to run down Brandon Potts here. This is the battle for the last spot on the podium here, 3rd and 4th right here on the screen. These guys are a good bit behind both Pittman and Potts, but Pittman didn't have a huge lead. He had a 25-second lead. It's down to 11.5 seconds. I didn't see any kind of issues for Pittman. I certainly might have missed it, as it's the incidents and the issues have been coming in hot and heavy here. But I mean, he's still got a good, healthy lead out there, and as long as he doesn't have any kind of major damage on the car, he should be fine. As Jason Potts is back there about 11 seconds behind, another 9-10 seconds back to this battle right here for 3rd. Seamer is certainly digging, and he wants a piece of that podium before this thing is over, but he's only got 3.5 minutes to figure it out.
Yeah, it looks like Pittman, I didn't see any kind of crashes or anything, but just maybe a little bit. I mean, he had 12-second pit stop, so maybe he took tires. So I don't know where that lead went away, I guess. That's 15,
yeah,
what was that, 10, 15 seconds?
That much of a lead, it seems weird. Craig Jancic, unfortunately, is another one that had an issue. He was running in 4th spot, but he is currently back now in 12th position in the pro class, and judging by the pit time, that is a pit road penalty. That is certainly something you don't want to come up and bite you, especially running inside the top 5. So Jancic, again, the hits just keep on coming, and just when you think he's primed to start making his charge up in point standings and maybe make a run at the back-to-back titles here, this is certainly going to hurt his chances coming home on right now outside the top 10 if it were to finish right now. And it doesn't look like he's got anybody anywhere close to try and make another position. He had to settle for 12th place when he was looking to get inside of the top 5.
Yeah, just a policy mistake there, whether it was speeding or what happened there, but man, just a missed opportunity for Craig there. Had a good chance to make up some points and get back into this championship battle.
Not sure what happened there to Moeller, as he was trying to run down 2nd place Michael Carrillo, but goes off track there. It's almost like he forgot where he was there for a second and gets it back on track, but that was kind of crazy to see that right there. But
looked like he missed the braking zone.
Yeah, not sure what exactly happened, but let's take a look at another battle here on the track. This is the battle for the top 5, as right now Meeks has had a couple different issues here in the race, but he is looking to run down Glenn Lazan right now in 5th place. This is 5th and 6th on the track. The driver right behind there, that is not for position. So a couple battles here coming down to the end, and it looks like because of the issue there for Peter Moeller, he's got Sidney Madrigal right behind him. So the top 3 not settled in either class right now, as Moeller and Potts hold down the 3rd place positions, but Madrigal and Seamer are looking to grab it from him.
We got a bunch of battles here with just maybe a lap or 2 left. We could probably get the white flag next lap.
Try and see if we can see it from the lane. That's not going to do it for us here. Switch back so you guys can actually see something. Possibly the 1st corner. We'll try to take a look, and yeah, I don't see Barney. It looks like he is maybe waving the white flag right now. So we'll jump over here to James Scioli and see him around the final corners, and this very well could be the white flag lap. I can't get a good picture of Barney. Unfortunately, there's no camera set up for him at this track, but we'll take a look here at your overall leader. And man, I mean, talk about a guy starting on the pole and not really leading much at all, but it was due to a long fight back, and it gets himself into the position here. And it looks like this will be the white flag lap right here. You see right there, Barney waving a white flag in the air. One more time around for these boys. James Scioli has a 2.9 second lead. Another 7.5 back to Peter Moeller, but not much separating third and fourth right there, as that is Siviani Madrigal trying to get into the podium spot. We'll take a look over at the amateur class, and again, Brandon Potts has the position, the third place spot, but John Seamer right there still trying to get himself into the podium spot as well. Man, a lot of racing here throughout this entire race, and it really hasn't separated too much. I mean, the AM class seemed like it was separated the entire race, but now all of a sudden we got some battles here for third and fourth. We got a battle for fifth and sixth. This thing is far from over, but it looks like John Seamer needs to come in the pits. Not sure if that was just not having enough fuel or if he's going to serve a penalty, but that is going to easily give the podium here to Brandon Potts. So we'll take a look over here at the battle for fifth and sixth, which could end up turning into the battle for fourth and fifth before this thing is over, with John Seamer coming in there in the pits. This is certainly not over at all. As they're coming through the final corner here, they will get the white flag this time by.
I don't think it was, I was trying to look to see if he had too many incidents, but that's not the case. Looks like maybe he just had to get some fuel there.
Right behind these guys, we have Scioli crossing the line. James Scioli is going to take the checker flag there. Peter Moeller is not going to finish in third. He's not going to finish in fourth. And we'll show you exactly why, as he was defending the last couple corners here, completely misses the turn in. That is Siviani Madrigal going by. And then right there behind him, that is Rich Petrucco. Not sure what happened, if that was a wheel disconnecting, if that was a monitor going, maybe it was, you know, sometimes these guys run in VR. It could have potentially been VR, and the VR kind of shutting off on him. I mean, for him to be all over the place like that, that is kind of crazy, but he's going to go from a podium spot back to fifth place, so it is going to be James Scioli taking home the top spot. Michael Carrillo in second, but right here, this battle is still going on. Meeks is right there in fifth. Lazan is in fourth. These guys both are going to have a top five as the rest of the field has finished. This is the last battle and the last couple cars on the track. Who's going to get it? Meeks gets a good exit there. Just doesn't have the drive. Two corners left to go. Meeks looks at the inside. Gets a little wobbly. One last shot, but it looks like Lazan is going to hold off. A great battle there to the end. Lazan going to come home in fourth. Meeks is going to come home in fifth, but man, 40 minutes of just sheer battling for both of these classes all the way through. Pretty crazy here, Jim.
Yeah, that was another race where it just flew by again. I mean, there's so much action with these guys. I mean, so many cars on the track and two different classes here, and battles everywhere, and you know, guys having issues there in a turn one, and then being able to overcome that, like James Scioli. I mean, to be able to go from on the pole to being sideways, stopped on the track in turn one, and then to be able to just, you know, put your head down and battle back and come away with the victory here tonight. Wow, just impressive drive from him.
Yeah, I got to ask you, I mean, you've seen these guys handling this track out here. Was it anything like the race you were in here at Okayama?
It was not. The turn one was kind of the same a little bit, but then after that it was pretty quiet race for everybody. But not the case here tonight. It was action-packed throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, it certainly was a very good race here, and I mean, it seemed like the amateur class was going to be spread out the entire way. They ended up providing the best battles there at the end, other than a late mistake. And man, it's kind of crazy. I mean, the pro class, it feels like late race, you know, mid to late race incidents by some of the top guys in the pro class is what's determining the crazy finishing order in some of these races. I mean, it looked like Petrucco was set to have a win under the belt, or at least possibly a fight to try and stay ahead of Scioli there before he had his spin in turn number 2 and ends up finishing in 4th place. Scioli, obviously the pole sitter, had his issues in turn 1. I don't think too much of his doing at all, but an unbelievable battle back from outside the top 10 to drive up through this field and get it done on pit strategy. The short pits certainly worked out for the 77, and he gets the win here tonight. But I mean, Peter Moeller, another one inside the podium, and kind of throws it away with some, I don't know.
Yeah,
I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah.
Even before that though, he had the issue where it looked like he kind of turned in at a weird time. So not sure if there was some computer issues, if it was VR that he was running and it was kind of having an update maybe and kind of shutting off on him. Not sure what these guys are all running on, but wow, what a racy finish. But we'll give you the rundown of the race results for both classes here, starting with the Pro class. Let's get the race results, not the qualifying results. And it is going to be James Scioli, your winner here by 3.3 seconds over Michael Carrillo, Siviani Madrigal, Rich Petrucco, and Peter Moeller, your top 5. Dutton, Pisano, Vic Roy, Herrera, and Chacon are going to be your top 10. Rounding out the Pro class is going to be De Lima, just 1 spot short of that top 10. Jancic, Elwood, Stouffer, Powell, Price, Roderick, Eismer, Pierce, and Karn. Looks like Pierce and Carnes, I don't think either of them got out there to turn any kind of laps here tonight. But the 18 cars there in the Pro class did. Over in the AM class, your winner here is going to be Garrett Pittman, does it by 12.9 seconds over Jason Potts. Brandon Potts finishes in 3rd. Len Lazan, a great battle there at the end with Tyler Meeks, who are going to finish 4th and 5th. Jay Little, John Seamer, Ian Wilson, Antonio Diaz, Brian Farron, your top 10. And then rounding out the AM class field is going to be Ray Welch and Jim Herrick. Looks like we got some of these guys ready for their interviews, just trying to get everybody rounded up there and into the waiting room here for us. So we will go ahead and start with, looks like we'll start with the AM class. And Joe, why don't you go ahead and take our 3rd place finisher here tonight in the AM class? That is going to be the 25, Brandon Potts.
Hey, Brandon, Joe up in the booth. You got a copy?
Got a copy.
Hey, man, looks like you were battling with John Seamer there at the end, and not sure if he had to pit for fuel or what, but that kind of went away, so you had to just cruise yourself to a 3rd place finish. Talk about your race here today.
Oh, definitely. It was definitely a tough one. I couldn't really decide on what car between the Porsche and the Lambo, but the Lambo just kind of was a little bit more consistent for me. But it's a pretty tough track, and it seems very simple, and you get it, early on. But I didn't do many Mazda races or anything here, so it was kind of a memorization of both. And then I did look up, and I don't know what happened to John, because he was on me for sure, and I literally was like, I need white flag. I'm like saying that out loud, because I'm like, one more small mistake and he had me, because he was closing up like a 10th at a time, and I was getting looser and looser, so it was definitely a nice one.
Yeah, we were sitting there watching that battle with you two, and then all of a sudden he darted to pit road, and we didn't know if he had to get fuel or what had happened. So that was a good little battle you guys had going there. This is your first podium of the year. So congrats on that. Let's see.
Second, I actually got one race one. Alton. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I snuck one in there.
Oh, did you? All right.
3rd place as well, but hey, we'll take them.
Take them when you can get them. Heck yeah. 2 more races left in the year. How are you feeling about those 2 races?
I have never been on the mountain. That's going to be very, very interesting, to be honest. I don't even know how to feel about it. I've watched thousands of laps. I've watched the real race. I've watched people on iRacing, all that, but me actually doing it, haven't really done it. So we're going to have to figure that out. We got 7 days to do it. So, I guess time to put in some work, but that's going to be very interesting. And then the last one, Circuit of the Americas, I ran some F4 here. It was okay in an open wheel because you had extra downforce, I don't know how 10 tops are going to be. I don't know if they're going to hold through those S's or, sector 3, or if it's going to push wide, and we hope and pray for it. So we'll see how it goes. But Circuit of the Americas, I at least know somewhat. The mountain, panorama, don't know at all. But we'll see. We'll see if those walls get me or not.
Yeah, well, it seems like next week is going to be who can survive. It's going to be a survival race, which has kind of been the motto all season in some of these races, where it's maybe not been the fastest guy to win or be on the podium, but the guy who can just survive and not make any mistakes. So I'm sure that's going to be the case in the next week, definitely. So before we let you get out of here, anybody you want to thank on that machine today?
Oh yeah, definitely. Do a shout out to Miss Phoenix. She's the one who's been helping me, on both the stream. She's like my little pit crew, kinda. So the missus was helping, and then Team ZFG, Skylar, Meismer, all them for helping out a lot, and also the second place finisher, Jason, who you're about to interview as well. He's helped me out a lot, whether it be gear and then just like practicing things like that. So shout out to the family.
All righty. Well, thank you, and we'll let you get back at it.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
That is your third place finisher here in the AM class, the driver of the 25, Brandon Potts. Now we'll bring in second place, and it is going to be Jason Potts here coming into second place here in the AM class. And Jason, it seemed like the AM class really kind of stretched out kind of all through the field, and it's I'm sure partly due to the early race incidents there. And Garrett Pittman just seemed like he was just on another level out there tonight. So do you feel like it's kind of a best of the rest here, finishing in second?
I just feel like I was fortunate enough to get through the incidents in the first couple laps, and was fortunate enough that the mistakes that I made didn't cost me too much.
Well, it's kind of funny. We talked before the race that a lot of people probably have some kind of experience here at Okayama, it being one of the free tracks here on iRacing, and a lot of guys kind of grind their rookie teeth here through Okayama, Summit, and Lime Rock. But it's you would think that the tracks that people have more experience on are the ones that are going to be cleaner and better racing, but a lot of times it gives those guys just extra and maybe too much confidence, and it turns into a bit of a rougher show out there.
Yeah, and the narrow nature of the track. Yeah, I think that sometimes guys aren't as patient as they could be, but the key is to finish. That's my key.
Yeah, it's the old saying that to finish first, you must first finish. And
yeah,
you get home in second here. Obviously, like I said, Pittman he was out there, and it was going to be tough catching him there. But all in all, you got to feel pretty good here with the second place.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing I'd say is I didn't know I was second place till you said so. But yeah. I'm glad. I guess I'm glad I didn't know that during the race.
Well, absolutely, just keep doing it. That's honestly a good thing. Yeah, it shows that you're
P2s 2 weeks in a row. Yeah,
it shows that you're worried about the track, you're worried about racing, you're not worried about what position you're in, and a lot of times that turns into the good positions out there.
Absolutely.
All right, well, good finish for you here tonight. Congrats on the second place. Anybody you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Nah, just appreciate the interview, and try to keep my head down and stay at it.
Absolutely. Well, it's working so far. So congrats again on another good finish, and we'll see you next week at Mount Panorama.
All right. Thanks. Have a good one.
You too. That is the driver of the 57, second place here in the AM class, Jason Potts. Now, finally, the man that really didn't have too much competition here at all tonight. Joe, why don't you go ahead and talk to the winner here in the AM class? That's going to be the 7 of Garrett Pittman.
Mr. Garrett, welcome to the booth. Man, you just drove away with that thing here tonight. Talk us through your race here.
I'm going to be honest. I didn't do it on purpose. I was coming into this week kind of just throwing stuff at the wall and see what stuck. Okayama definitely. Good. It seemed to. I definitely got lucky with that turn 1 incident. I think that pretty much created 2 packs at the beginning, so it gave me some breathing space and kind of just allowed me to try to keep up with the pros out front. So pretty much my strategy after that was, just try to follow their lines as much as possible and try to stay close and hold on to what I had.
Yeah, it seemed like before we even knew it, you had like a 10-second lead over the second place in the AM class. And did you know at that point, and were you just kind of, I mean, not like Carl said on cruise control, but just, hey, don't force nothing here?
Yeah, exactly. I think, some of the pro guys ended up catching back up to me, and I knew they weren't really going to be my fight. So as much as I would have liked to get higher overall position, I just kind of wanted to keep what I had, not risk them, getting impatient with me and making a move that maybe I wasn't expecting. So I just kind of let them have it. Just wanted to keep what I had, leader-wise in the M class and bring it home.
Well, speaking of leaders, Mr. Ayers was not here today, and you being second in points and taking away the win here tonight, it's definitely going to probably put you in first, I'm guessing, with 2 more races to go and a real tough track next week. What's going to be the mindset going into next week?
Yeah, a little bit of a bummer that Randall didn't make it this week. I was hoping for that battle to go throughout the whole season. But yeah, since I'm taking the lead and stuff next week being the difficult track that it is, I have a little bit more experience there with doing some of the endurance events. So kind of comfortable, but I know that downhill can really bite you. So I think kind of like here, might just kind of hang back and let other people take themselves out and see what I can pick up. If I got the speed, then I got the speed and I'll take it. But otherwise, just keep my head down next week.
And as narrow as it is, going through the S's and everything, you have to worry about yourself, but you also worry about other people, and try to just avoid any of that. Because, obviously you don't want to do that after taking the points lead here. But a couple tough tracks to go. Anybody you want to give a shout out to on that 7?
Obviously, thank you to the wife for understanding. Amanda, love you. It's race night, so the team, XPM, Extreme Performance Motorsports, thanks to them for helping me get ready. And thanks to you guys and the league for being here this week.
All right. Well, everybody's giving shout outs to their wives or girlfriends or whatever. So everybody's doing the right thing tonight.
So far, so good.
Sure that, so far, we're all in the clear. But congrats on the win, Garrett, and we will see you next week.
Have a good one, guys.
That is driver of the 7 here in the AM class and your winner here in the AM class, Garrett Pittman. Now we'll switch over to the pro class and I'm going to start off with the 15 of Siviane Madrigal. And you had quite a race. We talked about the AM class kind of being spread out. It wasn't the case in the pro class at all. You guys, I think from about 3rd all the way back to 7th or 8th, were all kind of close together. It ended up shaking out there a little bit, and you had a battle with I forget exactly who it was before the pit stops there, but you were getting hounded from behind, and then it was almost the exact opposite there at the end as you were hounding Peter Moeller there for the last spot in the podium. He throws it away in the end, and you get it easily, but what was it about the track out here tonight? Some guys had some issues, but he seemed to have a pretty good Lambo out there tonight.
Yeah, well, hey guys, really nice to be here. That's true. So I was stuck in a battle with Craig, if I forget correctly, Craig and also AJ. We were lapping very well in a good pace. But so I just decided to go a lap earlier, a little bit earlier when I was stopped for the pit stop. And then so I just tried to maintain the pace. That was what I was thinking. So just keep the pace, because when I get out of the pits, I was like in 14 or something like that position. And I was just thinking to maintain the pace to see what happened with the other guys that's going to get into the pits. And yeah, when just was about to go over the pits, I just see the P1, P2, and P3, they were just exiting the pit lane. And I was in the P4, just behind Peter Moeller. But I was like, I don't know. I was talking to Peter as well, and he told me he has having some little issues with the computer, because he was like I don't remember correctly, but I was like 8 seconds or 10 seconds behind Peter, and I was thinking, this is my P4 for tonight. I'm not expecting to be in the podium today. But at the end, so Peter has those little issues with the computer. Unfortunately for him, in the last 2 laps, and I was getting closer and closer every time. And then, so I just realized actually in the last two hairpins we have, he just get off the track, and well, he just give me this P3 tonight in some Valentine's Day. I think that's a really gift today for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice when they just gift it to you, and instead of you having to work for it, for sure. But I mean, it was tough out there tonight. It seemed like, free air was going to be more important than actually getting behind somebody and utilizing that draft. Obviously, the draft is going to help you on the straightaways and overall give you a little bit more speed. But it seemed like whenever guys got the free air, it seemed like everybody could kind of let their hair down a little bit and drive a little bit faster. And the short pitting certainly helped out a lot of guys, helped you out right there, getting you back up to the top three. So, I mean, do you feel like that was the case, that the clean air was just a lot better and made the car drive better?
Yeah, totally true. So yeah, that's I also remember that someone else was behind me and he lapped earlier than me, and actually he just will give another position there. But yeah, so the tricky part with this track is, so that it's so hard to overtake someone because the corners are very, very, very tight, right? So you have to think very, very well when you're going to overtake someone in the braking zone, because every corner is very technical, and you need to know exactly where you can get someone advantage in the corners. But yeah, so just running a clean air is totally better, and especially in this track, because we also have like that straight that we have is a long straight that we have here in this track. It helped a lot to maintain pace and also to maintain the car fresh and also maintain the tires a little bit fresh. But yeah, so it is a complex track. Even this is one of the most popular tracks, right? Because everybody in racing has this track for free. But yeah, so I think for today it was an unexpected podium for me, honestly. But I'm very happy at the same time. So fortunately for Peter, that he was in that P3. But at the end, so I just have luck today, maintained the pace. I had a good race without mistakes, and also those battles, I'm trying to make those battles as much possible clean. Just try to get an opportunity if I have the full gap, but not go for it, right? So not to force all those gaps, because at the end we can end up making a mistake and also ruining the race for the other guys. But yeah, so I think this was a really pretty funny race today, and yeah, so I feel very, very happy for today P3.
Oh yeah, we talked about that pre-race. It's not always the guys are the fastest that finish towards the top. It's a lot of the times, being smart and being smooth and just minimizing the mistakes and trying to keep it to a clean race will end up getting you a very good position. And it seemed like it worked out pretty well for you here tonight, grabbing the third place finish. Next week, you want to talk about tight racing. Certainly, half of the track next week is very tight racing, and you're really just kind of in a cattle chute going up around the mountain there at Mount Panorama before you can maybe breathe a little bit coming down off the mountain, and a little bit more of if you want to call it a regular road course on the other half of the track right there. But certainly not for the squeamish when you're going up over the mountain right there at Mount Panorama. How do you feel about your chances next week?
Oh, so that one will be really tough because, honestly, I never raced in that track. I have it for a long time, but unfortunately, when I was in the when I have to race that track specifically, I couldn't race it, and so for me it will be a really tough one because I have to be practicing that track, and it's not an easy one, right? So we have to practice a lot with that track, and it will also. I also thinking right now in that track because I need to think very, very carefully with which car will be the best on that track, right? Because for example, Lambo is really nice, but you have to be very, very careful in that. When you are going down to the mountain, especially in those brake zones. We know the Lambo is very sensitive car. But yeah, so I will need to make some hours of practices with that track, definitely. So I don't know what to expect, honestly, for next week.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of the drivers know exactly what to expect, even the ones that do have experience on the track. I mean, it's a track that's kind of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. You got half the track on the mountain there where you, like you said, I mean, no matter what car you pick, it's going to feel good in one spot, probably, and not good in another spot. Going through the mountain there, you need a car that really kind of sticks and flows back and forth through all the technical sections, but they don't need one with the all-out speed there coming down the mountain. But we'll wish you good luck in the practice, and hopefully we can see up here on the podium again. And really, it's probably going to do the same thing. It's going to take just a clean, smart race from the drivers out there to finish at the top. We'll see if you are one of those. But before we let you go, anybody you want to give a shout out to or thanks to on that 15?
Well, today, especially to my wife, right? Because she's I know right now she may be in the bedroom and waiting for the Valentine's Day, right? So
waiting for the third place celebration. Yeah, all right, we got it.
Oh yeah.
She's waiting for the trophy presentation. We'll say that.
And also thanks to all of you guys, because this league is really it is nice to race in this league. Definitely, I see that the replay and the transmissions, and you are doing a really good job. It's really professional transmission right there, and you can spend time watch those replays because you really enjoy it. So it's a really nice work that you will be doing, guys, and also the effort for the rest of the guys are at the admins that we have in this league. And yeah, so thanks to all of you, and happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, we appreciate the kind words, and we'll let you go and celebrate with the wife and not let her wait any longer for you. So congrats on the third place here tonight, and hopefully we'll be talking to you again next week at Mount Panorama.
All right, I will also wish that. I hope to be here next week as well, but it will be tough.
Absolutely.
Right. Oh yeah.
All right, that is the driver of the 15 here, Siviani Madrigal, finishing in third in the pro class. Unfortunately, our second place finisher, Michael Carrillo, had to step out early here tonight, so we are going to catch up with him before the race next week and discuss his second place here tonight. But we do have our first place finisher, and Joe, why don't you go ahead and take him and have fun discussing his race, that being the 77 of James Scioli.
Well, I'll just let him explain it and let him talk us through and start from, I guess, turn one and kind of just discuss on what happened there and how you were able to just get back up top here. I mean, what a great drive.
Yeah, thank you. It was a little chaotic. I didn't expect to be three wide into turn one. I took it half defensive, and then those guys were kind of getting on the grass behind me. So I tried to fade out the last minute of turn one and just got caught and spun around and just tried to get back going as fast as possible. I didn't think I really had a chance when I was all the way back in 11th. I knew it was going to be fairly tough to pass. I feel like this track's one of the easier tracks to pass just because of all the big braking zones, but it's still tough. These guys are all quick, so I was just trying to pick my moments and not make any big mistakes, not lose a bunch of time. There were a couple times where I ended up losing some time trying to get around somebody or got stuck behind him for another lap than I wanted to. But once I got to about 7th, I was kind of in a train of 3 cars. I knew it was going to take at least 3 laps to get them all, so I just decided to pit there and got super lucky, came out with no traffic, and it looked like there was a 3-way battle going on for the lead. So I was able to just put my head down, run some really good laps for how hot the track ended up getting. And I think them guys were just battling and waited until the very end and ended up running out of time there. So all in all, definitely a crazy race for sure.
Yeah, we were talking, we were watching that battle with you there, and you just had been catching them and finally got to them. And we knew everybody's got to pit at least one time here and get some fuel. And I was talking to Carl, and I was like, well, would this be a good time to pit and go ahead and you got to pit anyways, get some fuel, and then maybe get lucky and get some clean air and maybe try to put some laps down because didn't want to get held up too much longer, because you were, just putting some good laps to get down there, and that was probably, and then like that next lap is when you came down and pitted and came out ahead of a lot of those guys there, and I think by the pit cycle you were in first there, so I think that was probably the best decision you can make right there.
Yeah, I think it was the best time to pit. I ran one lap behind that train and I lost a full second to the leaders, so I just knew that I had to make something up, and I was just hoping that I wasn't going to get caught up in a bunch of traffic when I came out the pits. But if I had to do it again, I think that was the lap I had to pit.
Yeah, and then to go back a little bit to the turn one thing there, like the start of the race just seemed like it was kind of jumbled up. It was kind of a lot of checking up, or a lot of I don't know what was really going on for sure, but then not really. What you want to see is, I mean, the one car inside you is okay, but not two there. So it was, I mean, I don't think there's a line for that to try to allow two cars to go on the inside there. But what a great job for you to, you know, be able to overcome that and come back to the field and just, I mean, this is your second race here and two races, 2 wins. So are we going to see you next week?
Yeah, should be here next week. So just gonna try and keep that average finish at 1 there. Definitely was not expecting to win after the start today, so just glad to do that. I don't remember where we're at next week, but
Mount Panorama.
Oh, perfect. So yeah, definitely gonna need a lot of practice there. There's gonna be a lot of guys fast over the top of the hill. I don't have a ton of experience there, so probably gonna take some time to get the lap times down there for sure.
What kind of are you going to be switching cars, or is that something that you kind of feel out, or me and Carl were kind of talking about that, how you guys can just go from track to track and be in different cars each week? Like how do you adapt to that?
Yeah, it's definitely weird. I just got the Audi yesterday, actually. Just kind of go by feeling and checking on the races throughout the week and seeing what other people are running, checking in the practice sessions, seeing who's got the fast laps, and just kind of going from there. But at the end of the day, it just comes down to comfort. The Audi was definitely the most comfortable. I think it was probably the fastest car as well. So yeah,
it was definitely scattered throughout the field. And I mean, the top 2 cars were Audi. So, and all the other fast cars were the Audis. So it seemed like it was the car for this track. So it's just like we were talking about on the broadcast, how it's just wild to me, being more from the oval side, that you guys can not only have the ability to do that, but to the ability to be fast, you know, and just jump in a car and go. It's crazy to me. But congrats on another win here. And anybody want to give a shout out to on that number 77?
Yeah, first want to give a huge shout out to you guys for capturing these races and these battles, and then big shout out to Alan Elwood, AJ Roderick, Elwood Designs, Roderick Racing Development. Big shout out to those guys, and Simrap Market for being on the car. And hopefully I'm talking to you guys again next week.
Yes, sir. Well, congrats, and we'll hopefully see you next week out the mount. See what you can do at the mountain.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
That is your winner here overall in the pro division. The 77 of James Scioli certainly was not easy and was not without some drama. But I mean, that's what happens when you're a good racer here. He didn't panic. He just took it with stride. He got back in line and was a lot further back than he wanted to be, for sure, especially that early in the race, being back outside the top 10. But used strategy to get himself back up there, and it shows how much strategy can come into play. And I mean, Joe, you kind of called it out, and literally right after that is when he decided to make that move to come into the pits. And you know, sometimes it's once you get into that pit window, it's a reason they call it a pit window for because it's a little gap there between, you know, it could be from lap 5 all the way to lap 10. Sometimes it benefits you to wait until lap 10. Sometimes you want to come in at lap 5, and other times you feel like, you know, if you're getting held up on lap 7, that's the time to come in. So you need to play it by feel. You can't just say at the beginning of the race, okay, the race is 40 minutes long, I'm going to pit 20 minutes in the race, and that's it. You need to be flexible, and that's exactly what James was here tonight. He had to kind of roll with the punches as he got damn near knocked out in turn 1, but he got back up again and used the pit strategy to get himself on top of the boards. Great race here by these guys at CSRL again, and obviously plenty of action. Hopefully you guys out there enjoyed it. If you have, make sure you hit that like and subscribe and tune into everything that CRN has to offer, as we've got tons of racing all week long. If you like racing, this is the place to be. Thanks again to Jim Herrick over there at 4D Racewear. Certainly check them out for all your all your racing needs. And I mean, it's been great. It's been 4 races so far. We only got 2 races to go, but these guys are already amping up and getting ready for season 8, and it's not going to be too far, on the horizon once season 6 ends. And by the sounds of it, we'll be able to hop on board with these guys once more and cover season 8 for these guys. And we're already amped up and ready to do that. As we appreciate the partnership that we have with CSRL. And I mean, they've been turning out some great fields here, great racing. You can't ask for much more. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the season, see how it pans out. Who's going to come out on top here in the championship?
I'm ready for next week and see what can happen down the mountain. I mean, that's going to be. I'm going to need. I'm gonna need. I don't know what. I'm gonna need to amp myself up or just
tank?
get my something. I mean, I'm gonna just probably not talk all day until the broadcast, so I can have all my words ready to go. Because we are probably gonna nonstop talking that entire race with all the action that's gonna be going down.
Here's what I want. Here is your homework, Joe. I want you to go out there and find a race. I don't care if it's in the Mazdas or in the Pontiac Solstice, and just take a couple laps around the mountain if you haven't done so, because it's a treat. I'll just say that it's kind of a mini Nürburgring, if you want to call it that. I mean, it's white knuckle hell going up through the mountain, and then it's almost like nothing ever happened. It's just a nice long straight stretch down into a little chicane and a couple left-hand turns before you get back into hell again.
It was the first race last year in the Premier League or Premier Series.
Oh yes,
and in the the supercars, and I practiced my tail off, and it still wasn't enough. So that track is. I mean, I'm gonna get some laps in there this week just to get a feel for it. But man, it is something else, and it's gonna be fun to watch these guys.
Well, it's one of those, and kind of akin to Nürburgring. Once you kind of have an understanding of the track, and once you can, drive it with a little bit more muscle memory instead of, oh crap, I got to turn here, I got to do this, I got to do that, and you start getting a little bit more comfortable with the track, the times start just dropping off, and you start really putting in some good lap times, and it only takes, a little bit of knowledge of the track before you're better than, probably half of the field out there, because there's going to be a lot of guys out there with little to no practice that are just kind of feeling their way around there. And you definitely want to be ahead of them, because again, through the mountain there, it's a bit of a cattle chute, and somebody spins it sideways. I mean, they're going to be Austin Powered there, somebody in the mountain, and you got nowhere to go. You have to wait until they figure out how to turn around, or whether they tow to the pits, whatever the case is. So it'll be interesting. Hopefully these guys can make it through there clean.
And you can get on that track and do some solo sessions and try to figure out the line and figure out what's comfortable for you. And then you can go watch somebody, and then they're running, maybe they're running 2 seconds faster, and you're like, what are they doing? And then they're doing one little thing in a section of the track, and it's like, oh man, why didn't I think of that? Or, you just don't know that until you maybe can get the knowledge and maybe watch somebody else. And I love that league's broadcast, because you can get to go back and watch not only what you did, but like the other strategies, because we're covering, as many cars as we can. So a lot of these guys can go back and watch us and see what other guys did. So it's kind of hard to, during the race, obviously, but I mean, I like that you can go back and watch the broadcast, because I do that like all the time.
And one thing that goes without saying about Mount Panorama is it's a beautiful track. I mean, it is unbelievable. It's one of the tracks that you go to and you're driving around, and sometimes you shouldn't, but you get lost in the scenery. I mean, when you're up there in the mountain, you can literally see forever. You can see the other side of the track from up there, and it's really, really a beautiful track. Crazy, and it takes a lot of skill, and especially when you get to the top there and go through Skyline and down through the S's, it can get scary, and that's where you'll see guys really gain and lose a lot of time. You're talking about gaining and losing seconds. You can do that there if you're being brave coming down the quick little back and forth S's there before you get to the dipper. And then Forest Elbow is a corner that is just it is just tough. It's one of those corners in racing period that I never seem to hit the same way twice, and it's probably the most important corner on the entire track, as it leads you down to the Conrad Straight, which is a very, very, very long straightaway that you're maxed out and full power all the way down into the S turn before the end of the the track there, so you need to hit Forest Elbows exit as fast as possible, but it's so tough. You got to get close to the wall on the inside. Sometimes you hit it perfect, but you slide out to the outside. Sometimes you catch it to the inside. It's just, there's so much going on, and I mean,
yeah,
I can't wait till
right,
that. Obviously,
left,
I can't wait till next week. Obviously, I can't wait till next week because it's a great track, and really, you know, even the last track on the schedule, Coda, we'll certainly talk a lot about that. As it's going to be very interesting to finish the season there, but. I mean, we're well over time here for these guys here at CSRL, but it just shows how much we're looking forward to these last couple races in the season. And this championship for both the pro and the amateur is certainly not over by any means, but a couple of guys taking some steps here in this race to put themselves in the right position. Thank you for tuning in to us tonight, and you know, for all the subscriptions up to this point, still trying to get up to that 1,000 mark, but we are certainly edging closer and closer. So thank you to everybody that supported CRN up to this point. For myself and Joseph here at Okayama, we'll see you at the track.